Greetings! I'm Tantus Narvan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome! It's time to talk about 5th edition yet again. We're continuing our discussion on classes in 5th edition. What are we going to talk about today? 3 more. Paladin, Ranger, and the Rogue. So let's begin. Let's start talking about the Paladin. Paladins are holy warriors who have sworn oaths to uphold like justice or a cause, and they just are willing to go straight at that. They're living up to this oath they have sworn. And I'll talk about the Paladin's oaths a little later, towards the end of them, because that's a big decision on the kind of Paladin you're going to play as. Alright, so let's talk about what a Paladin gets now. So they get a d10 hit dice. Strength and Charisma are the big ability scores, very important for your Paladin. For their saves, they get Wisdom and Charisma as saves they're proficient with. They get proficiency in all simple and martial weapons, in all armor, all shields, and when you choose skills, they get 2 from a short list. No proficiencies in tools, equipment, just like all the other classes I've talked about before. So what do I get as a Paladin now? So you get a Divine Sense, which you can use a number of times per day, and you get them back after a long rest, so you can recover your Divine Sense then. It allows you to sense a number of types of creatures. Fiends, undead, celestials. There's a list of them, and you use your Divine Sense, and you sort of, like anything in front of you at a certain range, if one of those creatures is there, you know it's there, even if it's hidden or invisible or whatever. Now, what else do you get as a Paladin? You get Lay on Hands. Lay on Hands heals you, and the amount it heals you, it depends on how much you want to heal. You choose the amount you use of your Lay on Hands, but it's based upon your level, how much you get. Those are the things your Paladin gets at early levels. But there are a few things I should mention that you get when you level. The first thing is, you get spellcasting. Paladins will get up to 5th level spells. Now they use their Charisma for their spells, and that means it's for their DCs, for their attacks. They have to use a holy symbol as their divine focus, as their spellcasting focus, and they work a lot like a cleric works. They have that same sort of selection of spells and then slots, but unlike a cleric, they get half their Paladin level plus their Charisma as the number of spells they memorize. So at 2nd level, if my Charisma is a 16, my modifier is 3, I would have 4 spells at 2nd level. And I'm not getting an extra spell from leveling until my 4th level, when it goes to 2 plus my Charisma modifier. And then I just, again, just like with a cleric, I choose from the entire Paladin spell list, and then I can use my slots, which my leveling tells me how many slots I have, and I could, if I, these 4 spells, I could cast this one twice, this one once, that sort of thing. I've explained it before, but Paladins just get less spells they memorize overall. And the last thing a Paladin gets as it levels is a Sacred Oath. I mentioned that they serve an oath. The Sacred Oath is the oath they swear to. And each one is very different on its theme. But each one has like themes about them that tells you what kind of Paladin you are, what your oath to the world is, and your abilities you get from leveling are based upon that oath. Alright, so let's move on to the Ranger. Rangers are natural warriors. They're warriors of the wild who use nature magic, who are oftentimes hunters or trackers. So what do I get as a Ranger? I get a d10 as my hit dice. Dexterity and Wisdom are the best ability scores for them, and they get Strength and Dex as good saves. They get to choose 3 skills from the Ranger skill list. They're proficient with all simple martial weapons with light, medium armor, and shields. So what else does a Ranger get? They get Favored Enemy. What Favored Enemy does is I choose a type of creature from a list, and I get a boost when I'm tracking that creature, or I'm trying to identify a creature of that type, and I do get some more Favored Enemies as I level. They also get Natural Explorer, which they get a number of terrains they're familiar with, and when they're in that terrain, they get bonuses that not only go to you, but go to your entire team. So if you're a Forest Explorer, you get these bonuses to exploring. So what does a Ranger get as they level? They get Spellcasting. They get to 5th level spells, just like the Paladin, but they work differently than the Paladin. They have spells known. So they have a number of spells known that goes up as they level. When you choose a spell, a new one, you can choose a spell known that qualifies from your level, from your list. So if I can only take 1st level, I have to take 1st level. If I can take 1st or 2nd level, I could choose either as my spell node. And then I have a number of slots, which again I can fill, so this works a lot like the bard that I talked about earlier, that they have spells known, except that for the ranger, it's whatever level. And rangers also choose a ranger archetype, which is the big thing that sort of defines their class as it levels up, like I've mentioned for a lot of them. So talk about the last class, a rogue. A rogue is like a thief, a trickster, a spy, an acrobat. What does a rogue have? A rogue has a D8 as their hit dice. Dexterity is the most important ability score you're going to need for a rogue. So the saves they're proficient with are dexterity and intelligence. They're proficient with all simple weapons, a few other weapons, and light armor. They get 4 skills from the list that they can choose from, and of course equipment like all the other classes. Now rogues are also proficient in thieves' tools. That's the tool they're proficient with. Okay, let's talk about the abilities they get at first level. First off, they get expertise. What expertise does is I choose 2 of my skills that I'm proficient with, doesn't matter if they're from rogue or from another source, or 1 skill and the thieves' tools, and I double the proficiency bonus I get when rolling a dice check involving that skill or that tool, the thieves' tools. So it's like I double my proficiency. I'm expertise. I have it with those skills or that skill and that tool. Now they also get a sneak attack, which they can do once a round. They can add this extra damage, and the extra damage goes up as they level, and the times they can use this extra damage are 2 different times. Once, if they have advantage, they can use their sneak attack damage. Or, if your enemy that you're fighting has a creature that it considers an enemy, regardless if it's your friend or not, 5 feet from it, you can then take advantage of that and deal your sneak attack damage to him. You can stab him in that slow spot because he's distracted by fighting just not you, but someone else. What else do they get? They get Thieves' Cant. It's a special language that rogues speak. It's like a language of thieves, of brigands, of smugglers that you can speak then. Alright, so that's the classes for today. I've talked about 3 more. There's only 3 left to talk about. We'll finish that up next time we talk about 5th edition. So if you have any questions about 5th edition or any of these classes, or any comments you'd like to leave about this video, please just leave it below in the comments. If you enjoy this video and want to support us, leave a like, and please subscribe, join the Empire. We're always looking for more citizens. But until next time, I bid you farewell.